all to the meeting of the Harwich Board of Appeals on this June 30th, 2021. The purpose of this meeting is to hear and decide applications before the Board of Appeals, which have been brought pursuant to the bylaw of the town of Harwich and the Massachusetts Zoning Enabling Act. I'm going to ask our board members to identify themselves, please.
Good evening, I'm James Armstrong.
Al Donahue.
Dave Ryer.
Brian Sullivan.
And
I'm Leisha McKenna, temporary building secretary.
okay, I will ask our clerk, Mr. Donahue, to call our first case, please.
All right, case number one is 2021-24. James F. Turner Jr. And trustee, excuse me, and Judith M. Turner, trustee et al., through their agent, David Germanis, have applied for special permit to finish the basement into habitable space in a pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. The application is pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich, 32554, Table 2. Area regulation is set forth in the Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6. The property is located at 609 Main Street, Map 40, Parcel C1, in the RM zoning district.
We have the applicant here. If you could come up to our table, please, sir, identify yourself and then present your petition. You can come right up here to the table.
Oh, the table. Good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
David Guimaras. I work for Lex Renovations, which is the company contracted by Mr. Turner. Here we represent him and ask for relief of the restriction that we found to complete his project.
You can sit down. You don't have to, you can stand if you want, but
Thank you.
not necessary.
So this project is a basement renovation, 684 square feet. It's one large room, no sleeping areas. Mainly, the main purpose for the room is to keep his grandkids off the road and give them a extra space. Looks like the problem with the application was the house is not 25 feet away from the road, and that is the restriction we found as we applied.
Okay, but everything is going to be within the basement itself.
Correct. We're not adding any to the plot plan. We're not changing that. It's one large area.
Okay, how many construction vehicles are going to be on site while you're doing the project? One?
1 and 2 workers.
And will that be able to be parked in the driveway?
Correct.
Okay. Jamie, any questions?
No, it's South Street where you're, the setbacks, yeah. Okay.
Al?
Yes, just trying to think if this was the one the health department had a question on. I think it was, it had to do with the plan itself, was
Yes.
somewhat vague. The health department has a statement, they're in favor of it, however, their concern was that the permit does not meet the definition of a bedroom, and they felt as though that the plan itself was rather vague, not specific with regard to the project.
Usually on the plan, I write the purpose of the room. If that needs to be updated, we can do that. Room is not to be any sleeping areas. It's not, we're not gonna add bathrooms or kitchenettes, or it's not for renting purpose, it's not sleeping purpose, it's one large room. Or, mainly a family room.
So there are no petitions at all?
No partitions, all. And the system is a unique system. It's all removable. Let's say 2 months from now, Mr. Turner needs to get to his foundation, he can just pull up the walls by himself. So it's meant to be a removable system too. Complies with all, insulation requirements and all that, but also gives you the ability to, without major, effort, get behind the walls and check. It's gonna be a drop ceiling. It's gonna be probably 2 to 3 weeks construction, no more than that.
Thank you. Okay, but you will have to work it out with the health department.
Yeah, well, if they need an update on
Yeah.
the plan, I can update the plan and be more specific on the plan if they need to.
Yeah, because they said they're not gonna give you a building permit or approve it until you give them more definitive
Yeah.
plans.
Yeah, I'll double check the plan and,
Brian?
Yeah, those were my same questions, and I think for me was particularly this particular plan that's showing all these lines, thinking, okay, what are these different rooms?
no, those lines represent the softening areas, because there's some pipes in most basements. So
Okay.
those represent different heights on the ceiling height. But the minimum height goes above 6 feet 4 inches, which is the lowest ceiling height on a basement.
Okay, I have nothing else.
Tim?
I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
I second it.
Well, somebody's got to make the
I
motion.
motion that you close public hearing, excuse me.
Okay, could I have a second on Brian's motion, please?
Second.
Okay, second by Tim. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public hearing is closed. Any final comments? All right, discussion by the board. I think this meets the requirements of the bylaw and the Gale case. Really, nothing is changing, except they're going to finish off the existing cellar. Anybody else?
I agree.
That pretty well covers it.
I do have one question. So, and I know one of the first cases that I had was the basement, and you asked why are they in front of the board?
Yes,
And I still cannot get my head around why he needs to come in front of the board if it's interior work that's already there. He's not,
Well,
doing a
because,
basement,
yeah,
Why-
technically, they're building in a non-conforming space, so they're intensifying the non-conformity. That's the position
Even if
our,
it's all interior work?
that's the position our building commissioner has taken. That's why several of the cases are here tonight that I think Attorney Kroll is representing people on.
If you're within the 20-foot setback,
Right.
which you already are, and you're creating new habitable space in the basement, closer than 20 feet to the boundary line, then you're intensifying that habitable space.
Regardless if it's just interior work?
Right.
Right. The setback is vertical.
Right.
So I think the key word there is changing non-habitable space to habitable space.
we
Thank
had
you.
the same issue with someone converting a porch over to livable space. Same, yeah, that's what I came to realize as well.
Right. Okay, if there's nothing further from the board, I'll entertain a motion in the case.
Case of 2021-24, James F. Turner, the trustee, and Judith M. Turner, trustee of Al, through their agent, David Gamaris, thank you, have applied for special permit to finish the basement into habitable space in a pre-existing non-conforming single-family home. According to the Harwich 325, Section 54, Table 2, area regulations set forth in MGL 4068. The property is located at 609 Main Street, map 40, parcel C1, RM zoning district. The only question I have is with regard to where the property is located. Would you anticipate having more than one or two construction vehicles up there?
No, and also no dumpster.
No dumpster, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You
The,
did say one vehicle would be parked
Yes,
on
one,
the.
one
Yeah.
vehicle, one working
Yeah,
operating
but there's-
vehicle.
on
every
this
day.
property, but there's no way in the world it's gonna be parked up in
No,
the streets there.
No.
The board hereby grants special permit, having found the applicant meets the requirements of the bylaw in the Gill case. The project does not propose, the proposed project will not intensify one or more existing nonconformities and not create a new nonconformity and will not substantially be more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. All work will be performed, excuse me, with the plans submitted by this application. Let's see. During the life of the project, all construction vehicles shall be parked on the property and not on a public street or road. It is the condition of this approval that the violation of terms, excuse me, the conditions of the special permit may be enforced as a violation of Harwich zoning bylaw pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw as these may be amended from time to time.
Could I have a second on the motion, please?
Second?
Second from Mr. Armstrong. Any discussion by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion granted, 5-0. Thank you, sir. You got your special permit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, case number 2021-25, Harwich Bay Limited Partnership and Bank of America Corporation, through the agent William Shockey, have applied for a variance to install new exterior security lighting at the Bank of America ATM. The application pursuant to the MGL Chapter 48, Section 10, the property is located at 305 Route 28, Map 12, Parcel X3-33B in the RH1 zoning district.
Okay, if the applicant could come up and introduce themselves, please, the applicants, and present their petition.
Good evening. My name is Bill Sharkey. I'm with CBRE. We're the property managers for the Bank of New England in New England.
To it so you can keep them straight.
Oh, you've got the Bank of America. And I have with me Josh Wagner from the bank's lighting consultant, GMR. And Josh can walk us through the drawings and make a presentation of what we're looking to install.
Yeah, so like I said, Josh Wagner, I work for GMR. We do all the lighting design for Bank of America across the U.S. This one in particular is just in the same. Bank of America considers Massachusetts a regulated state in their eyes. So we created this lighting design to meet that 2-foot candle minimum within a 50-foot radius of the ATM or exposure. In this case, it's a lobby entry with 24-hour access to the ATM. The bank has specified the 50-foot radius be taken at 3 foot above grade. So all your foot candle readings are taken at 3 foot. That can be found on LU8. I don't know if you have the plans in front of you, but I do have a copy of them if you do not. I'd be happy to hand that out. Your compliance readings will be found on LU8. That's specifically for bank use. LU4 is readings taken at grade, so you can see fully across the property line in every direction what your foot candles will be in order for us to meet that 2-foot candle minimum. This specific bank has a very slim property line, so we did our best to limit our throw off property while also meeting the compliance for the bank in their eyes. All of our lights are full cut off, so nothing being thrown above a 90-degree plane. We're trying to use the lowest lumens amount possible. Like I said, again, we're a security lighting firm, so we're gonna meet the bank standard to a T for the first lighting design. And we're happy to answer and talk about any of the comments and concerns you might have.
Okay, since you folks are applying for a variance, why don't you tell us, you know, what your hardship is, how you're meeting the requirements of the variance?
Sure. So Massachusetts has a law regarding financial institutions that it kind of leaves the error up to the bank. The bank has specified Massachusetts, again, like I said, a regulated state. So we're trying to meet that 2-foot candle minimum within the 50-foot radius. In order to do that, our foot candles being thrown across property are a little higher than we'd like to see because of the area of the compliance area due to the location of the ATM.
Yeah, and I think, to answer the question, I think we were told that the town zoning ordinance is 1-foot candle.
Right.
And this would obviously double, I guess, what's there.
Right, so at one point, I'll go ahead and reference the design. At one point, we have 2.5 and 2.8 right behind the poles. But you can see it quickly fades off right behind that to 1.4 and 1.1 in those areas. So these fixtures that we're using, they limit the amount of throw strictly to the property. I've also brought renderings that are made from our lighting design. I don't know if you guys have seen these either, but I'd be happy to let you see them or use them for whatever you'd like to, if you want me to bring them up.
Sure.
Just kind of show the type of lighting we'll be using on site, which is 40K. Excuse me, white light. We can alter the design as much as you guys seem fitting, as long as we still try to meet that 2-foot candle minimum that the banks required us to meet. So the hardship is, you know, at some point, if you look at LU8, the 50-foot compliance area meets the property line, where we're trying to meet the 2-foot candle minimum for the security of the people using the bank after hours, because again, this is a 24-hour access ATM. It meets the property line. So that's where we kind of have this gray area where we're trying to meet the bank security lighting for people being safe using the ATMs to limit the shadows coming to the bank. Where we also have your property line ordinance, which completely makes sense, they meet. So we can't have a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 1 at the same area, if that makes sense. So that's what we're here today to try to explain, that we're trying to make this bank as safe as humanly possible for people to use after hours. That's our main goal.
Okay. And it is a unique pie-shaped parcel, I think, the shape of the lot and the requirements of the bank and the other organizations here, as far as illumination and safety, would satisfy the requirements for variance. I'm assuming, I mean, there's no place to go on the road. You'd have to park all your construction vehicles on the site while you do the work. So that would be our condition. How long will the project extend?
I think normally these, a week and a half, they don't go longer than 2 weeks, sort of weather dependent. Fairly quick. We have crews that kind of, we do a couple of dozen of these every summer, so,
6 lights.
yeah, I think we figured this couple of weeks, I guess.
And you'll have it, though, marked off so the customers are gonna be safe while
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
performing the work?
Yes, sir.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Jamie?
I had a question in regard to the standards that you use to determine this. So you quoted the Bank of America security standard. So that's an industry standard,
Yes, sir.
right? So does it meet 780 CMR or?
Massachusetts has, and I think this is really true of most New England states, they don't, you know, they call for the state, the bank has to have a program, a safety program in place.
I forget who
They do not give any specifics. And
This is a
I guess
restaurant.
we did a little research
I don't know,
into
you'll
that.
have to
And,
ask
you know,
them.
we found out that the state, you know, legislature would rather leave to the local zoning boards, you know, the local towns to,
Yes.
you know, come up with what they're comfortable in giving, I
I
guess.
understand that, and we have a bylaw, but it does reference in building code. And my question is,
Oh.
does it meet the building code? for the state?
I'm
The building
not,
code was what? I'm sorry.
780 CMR for the state? State building code?
I don't, not that I'm aware of.
yeah, I'm not so sure that building,
Because it would have to meet that, obviously.
yeah, and I,
Did you look at any other standards as well? That's based on occupancy, right? So it's, I would assume that this occupancy is described in building code, and then it would meet that standard.
When you say CMR, what are you referring to?
Commonwealth,
Building
Massachusetts regulations, building code.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I've actually never run into it. There's sort of a parking lot, you know, outside of the ATM itself. You know, an absolute parking lot design, you know, in the building code, the,
Well, it's,
Specifically
I
says
understand that, but it is a building, right? I mean, the
Sure,
ATM
yeah.
is a building.
yeah.
And it would fall under that in building code, I would assume. So the question I have is, does it meet that standard?
And again, I'm not aware there's actually anything in there that speaks to that. Bruce, do you know off the top of your head?
No, interior, yes,
Exterior, I don't think there's anything.
and then egress from the building once you exit the building.
So the luminance,
It would be the 1-foot candle, just like in the path of traffic, egress, once you exit the building.
Yep.
Then you see it.
okay, so it does meet that standard?
Yes.
Okay.
For
all right.
egress lighting,
Bruce is
yes.
an architect, does a lot of work.
Okay, no, you know, always get a little leery when it's an industry standard as opposed to building code or local bylaws.
Yeah, and it's kind of an odd one because, you know, the state of New York has specifics, New Jersey has specifics.
Oh, absolutely, and I understand that.
Florida,
and-
California, and
Yeah.
so, you know.
And I understand that, because we also have laws that affect this as well, so it gets very confusing.
Yeah, it does. It's, you know, it's, we were talking about this earlier, the law is here. We're always trying to convince landlords, you gotta do something. And, but, you know, there's nothing we can point at and say, specifically, you gotta do this. So that's why
So,
the bank
but-
came up with the
And,
standard.
and just to be clear, so the hardship that you're talking about is that you want to meet the standard of the bank? Okay,
Correct.
all right, thank you.
Al?
I just had one question. With regard to the illumination on the roof, it's the south side corner of the roof currently? Where are the other lights gonna be located? I know there's 3 lights on the roof that illuminate the Bank of America sign.
Yeah,
Those are left out of scope. Those will be,
Yeah,
those
those
will
will be-
remain.
Right, but I'm just curious where in the parking lot, the others, I didn't notice any other lighting.
you have an existing plan?
I don't have an existing plan. Everything that's green that you see on the
Yeah.
building is existing lights.
Okay.
Everything that's orange will be completely left out of scope.
But it is a light.
Right, it is a light. So everything you see on here is a light, yes.
So the parking lot will be illuminated.
Yes,
Yes.
as it hasn't been up to this point.
Right.
So as you can see out here in the parking lot where we have these foot candles, these 2 new poles that are going out there obviously are new poles. So what you would see out in the parking lot is essentially 0-foot candles at this point. So no lighting in the parking. So we're making it substantially better for security for the bank.
All right, well, thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, hey, thank you. Couple questions, just so when you say 2-foot candle, so behind the pole, on the north pole, so that's 2.2-foot candles at that corner, is that correct? So if we're looking up here,
Yes, sir, 2.2.
okay. Now, I know the restaurant is on the south end,
Yes, sir. Another commercial building, yeah.
and I forget what, and I looked at it before, and I was at the site. I forget what there's a commercial residential at the other corner.
A commercial residential?
No, there's commercial residential here.
Yes.
Is it commercial or residential?
I think it's residential.
This site, I think, is residential on the north
Yeah, I
side.
thought the same thing, and I'm just, my gut feeling looking at it is that that's a lot of light that's going into that residential property.
So when we talk about a lot of light,
Or am I looking at this?
1-foot candle, is it the 1.1, is that what we're referring to right by the bank, or right by the house, I apologize?
Yeah. It goes from 2.2 in their yard
Mhm.
down to, well, of course, the other side is non-existent
Right,
at
because
point
it's
one.
blocking, yeah.
But on that side right there, it seems to be gonna be a heavily lighted area that residential customer is gonna be dealing with.
Yeah, I'd have to confirm if that's as a house, or what that is. But yeah, one foot candle is being pushed out there because of the compliance area. 1 foot candle is, if I could give it to you in terms of what that looks like, if you turn the lights off in here right now, we'd be about 3 or 4, right, from the light from outside still, even with the shades.
We'd be at 3 candle power.
Yes, sir. 100%, 100%. In this general area, by this light shade, would be about 3 foot candles, which I've done multiple times. So you're talking about 1 foot candle, which is essentially nothing. 0 is 0 light, nothing, not being able to see anything. So yes, we are showing 1.1 and 1.7, but it's not very much at all. But we absolutely can go back to the drawing board and see what we can do there. The problem that we have in this area along that north side is there's nowhere to put a pole where somebody might not hit it, not within a curb line because of the property line.
It's a tight space back there.
It's a very tight space. So we're doing as much as we can with the little amount of space that we have due to the orientation of this property line. We can absolutely try to put a backlight shield or some sort of light, but being able to still meet that 2 foot candle requirement is going to be very, very tough in that scenario because we have 2 fixtures. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's actually the only questions I had.
Tim?
Yes, I had a similar question with the restaurant right there, but it sounds like you're not concerned about the amount of light going into the restaurant or that other property.
Well, the commercial restaurant, again, they're going to be open probably to around 8 or 9, and then they're closed, right? These lights will stay on from dusk till dawn. So while they're open, all we're doing is providing them more light for people to be able to see the restaurant. So at the very minimum, we're helping the restaurant. The residential area is throwing 1 foot candle, but again, 1 foot candle is not very much light at all at night. We're talking very minimal amount of throw off property at this point. I've heard a lot of references, not to this zoning board and other ones that I've gone to, is like gas station lighting, stadium lighting, things like that. This is not the type of fixture we're putting here. This is a low lumen, full cutoff fixture that'll be pointed away from the residential area. So we're keeping our light to the property line and to the property we're trying to keep security standards for, while also trying to limit our throw off property to the other, adjacent neighbors.
Was there any discussion with the neighbors regarding your lighting plan?
Bill, that's on you.
No, I know that we had to, to come to this meeting, we had to supply a butters list, so I don't know
Right, yeah.
whether or not notices went out to the
They would've.
butters.
They would have.
What's that?
They would have been sent out.
Oh,
yes.
yeah, so.
Right.
I don't,
So is there something on the residence's side that directs the light back into your property? Is there like a shield or something? How do you get it not to go
Oh,
into
yeah,
the
that's a great question. So the
neighbors?
type of fixture, it's nothing that the neighbors are doing. What we're using right here in this specific scenario is an HJ type fixture. So if we go to LU2, the HJ is a type 4 distribution fixture. So what that refers to is all your light from this light fixture is being projected forward,
Okay,
nothing coming backward. So all the LED nodes and all the good stuff are throwing the lumens in the forward direction, so we're keeping that light within the property line, and it's pointed in that way.
okay, good. I
Nothing
think
from the
that
neighbor is.
addresses your concern too.
Yeah, the other question was whether or not the north poles could be intensified higher and the south poles could be backed off a little bit so they weren't shedding as much light into the neighbor's yard. That's
Right.
That would be,
Yeah, so when I measured this, right, LU8 is a 50-foot radius. These generally have a 40 to 40-foot throw of light, generally speaking. From this end to this property line is, I think I measured like 57 foot from pole to pole.
yep.
So this HK is not throwing light into this residential area. Those,
It's not.
those are not going that far. They don't do that.
So where's that light coming from?
That light is cut off throw from the HJ. That's just excess light that's being projected slightly backwards, which is why you're seeing such low numbers, like 1 foot candle. Instead of in front of it, which you're seeing 4.3.
Okay.
And 5.2 at the bottom, in front of the pole.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll move to close the public hearing. Could I have a second? Second from Brian, okay. Bang on the, you gotta use it at least once. Public hearing is closed.
You used it quite well. I thought that was very authoritative.
Alicia was nice enough to put it out, so I don't wanna make her feel badly that
You
she
gotta
put it
take it
out
easy.
here for no reason, so. It's been, what, a year and a half since I've been able to do that, you know, on the computer.
That's the best part.
Yeah, I should have said that at the beginning. Welcome back. This is our first meeting since the pandemic started. When, did we have a February meeting that year?
God.
I think so.
We did.
I think we had no March. but-
Yeah.
So
but it's
long
been-
ago, I don't recall.
Yeah, who can remember, gosh.
I think this is the first time I had pants on. Yeah, I had shorts on every day, and I had to get changed to come here.
Well, thanks for doing that.
There you go.
Okay, so, where am I? I guess I'll ask for a motion on the case, unless there, wait, do we have any discussion by the board on this case?
I understand the reasons why they want to do this, absolutely. And for safety, it makes sense. I question whether or not it's a hardship, if it meets that standard of a hardship, in that they're using a industry standard that is not a part of other standards. So I don't know if that, what's your opinion on that, Dave?
Well, I guess my feeling is, we have a unique shape of lot, and it's a very small parcel. And if they started to bring the light poles in closer, I think they're right, people are gonna be banging into them. I mean, remember last week, someone went into a condo in Orleans, put the car into the whole condo? I mean, it happens all the time up here. People hit things, and for sure, I think that would be an issue. So I think it's well situated. I think the fact that the property is that unique shape, like a pie, piece of pie there, we could rely on that fact that it does, where are we? It does meet the requirement with respect to the shape driving the location. There isn't really much room to put them, and I think the hardship would be if they put them someplace else. I do think there would be a pretty good risk of people running into them. It's just so tight in there. So, I think it's a unique case.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It's interesting, yeah.
Very interesting situation, not our normal, but I think it makes good sense. And I also think the hardship can be justified on the safety basis, that it's for the safety of the patrons using the ATM machines after hours. Is the machine open 24 hours?
Yes, sir. It's a 24-hour access ATM.
Yeah, so I'm comfortable with it. And, you know, this board takes a pretty hard look at variances, and I think this one beats it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No, I would agree with the variance because of the topography and size of the lot and position of the lighting. I would see that's a
And I think
hardship.
their positions on the way they're throwing the light are pretty reasonable. Remember, we had these same lighting issues on that property next to the Villa Restaurant, whenever it was. It was a while back, not
Yes.
that long ago.
Yeah.
We were concerned that the lighting stay on the applicant's property, and
Yes.
they agreed
Sure.
to angle the lights, so. Anyway, I will entertain a motion in this case, please.
Case number 2021-15,
No, 2021-25, right?
25, excuse me, it's my glasses. 2021-25 Harwich Bay Limited Partnership and Bank of America Corp. through their agent, William Sharkey, have applied for a variance to install new exterior security lighting in the Bank of America ATM. The application is pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 10. The property is located at 305 Route 28, Map 2, Parcel X3-33B in the RH1 zoning district. The board hereby grants a variance, having found that the applicant meets the requirements of the bylaw of MGL Section 10, Chapter 48, as to the soil conditions or the topography, in this case, the topography, and the structures which justify the variance. And find that the failure of the board to make this grant will result in substantial hardship to the applicant. The board further finds the conditions specific to this property does not generally affect the entire district, and there is no substantial detriment to the public good by granting this variance, and that the granting will not nullify or substantially degrade from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. All work will be performed in according to the plans submitted, but due to the, there shall be no demolition. Basically, what we're going to require is that during the life of the project, all vehicles shall be parked on the property and not on a public way. As it is a condition also of this approval that the violation of the terms and conditions of this variance may be enforced as a violation of the Harwich zoning bylaw pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaws as these may be amended from time to time.
Could you just mention that, really it's the shape of the land, not so much the topography?
Okay. It'll be the conditions, the variance is granted because of the shape of the land itself, given the current.
Okay, I'll take a second on the motion. Tim Bailey, second of the motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right. Variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.
Don't go there.
All right, let me just stamp these in.
Yep.
I have to say, this chair is more comfortable than my chair at home, though. So that's a plus.
I sit at my house, wooden chair, and my backside is usually short. Comfortable though,
I look comfortable?
at the house. Look as if you're in the lounge chair.
I was comfortable.
That's-
That was the only thing I was thinking. I was like, my coffee there and everything? Should have brought coffee with me.
Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you.
Okay.
Case number 2021, 26. Glenn R. Sherman and Lisa F. Sherman, through their agent, Timothy Holmes, have applied for a special permit to construct a new detached accessory dwelling. The application is pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich, 325, Table 2, Area Regulation, Table 3, Height and bulk regulations as set forth in MGL 40A, Section 6. The property is located at 20 Deacons Folly Road, map 46, parcel M8-2 in the RL1 zoning district.
I'm going to recuse myself from this because I've known Glenn for many years. I consider him a good friend. So in the interest of fairness, I'll step away from this hearing.
Okay, you understand that's not because Jamie could not render a fair decision, but just to avoid any controversy or claims. Now, sir, we only have four board members then, and what we always do in this case is we offer the applicant the opportunity to come back and have a five-person board if you want, because when there's only four of us, one negative vote will result in a denial of relief. So we can go forward tonight, or you can come back next month, your choice.
Can we just continue and see how it goes and then ask for an extension before we?
What we are happy to go forward, you'll do your presentation, we'll go all the way short of having a motion, and then you can ask us for a straw vote if you would like.
Sure.
In which case, then we'll talk and see what you want to do.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Go ahead.
So the Shermans are looking to build an ADU on the front south side of the property. This will be for Lisa's mother to live in. The two items that we're looking for relief from are, one is, the first one I guess we can address is the setback from the road. Currently, there is an 13-foot open space. Is that correct? I'm looking at this. There's an open space along the road that was deeded when the subdivision was developed. Based on that setback and the 25-foot setback, we end up 38 feet back from the road. That puts the ADU pretty close to the existing dwelling. It's about 14 feet off the existing dwelling. The right from the street, the right corner of the existing dwelling is the master bedroom. So it essentially puts the new ADU pretty close to the master bedroom area. So we were looking to try to pull the building forward away towards the street, still maintaining what we felt was a pretty comfortable setback. It's from the road, it would still end up 28 feet from the road. The side setbacks are all, still meet the requirements. We tried to design the shape of the footprint of the building. We stepped it along the street to try to, rather than just have a box and have it infringe more on that setback, we tried to design the front of that to be a little bit more comfortable in relation to the lot line. The other section that we're seeking relief from is the size of the building. ADU is allowed to be 900 square feet due to the size of the lot and the size of the existing dwelling. We are only capable of getting up to 646 square feet. So we were seeking some relief from that, roughly 100 square feet, to be able to make a comfortable size living space. So those are the two main issues that we were seeking relief from.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, the problem I see, and let's deal with the more obvious one first. By moving into the setback, you really need a variance. You can't do that under a special permit.
Okay.
And probably the size is going to require a variance also, the size increase. Because your original plan here, where's the date of it? The January 15th, 2021 plan?
Is that a site plan that you have?
Yeah, the site plan, site and sewage plan. January 15th, 2021.
The other one's March 17.
It really showed, where is it? The only problem there was a small increase in site coverage.
Yep.
And I think we'd have to discuss it, that might be able to go forward as a special permit. But now, I think when you want to go into the setback and increase the square footage, I think you're gonna have to apply for variance. And just in my personal opinion, I mean, I'm only one member, I don't think you can meet the requirement, since you already show on this plan, you can put the accessory dwelling unit there within the requirements, except for the site coverage.
Yeah.
But let's hold that, those are my comments.
Sure.
Al, I'm gonna kick it over to Al, see what he thinks.
The way the diagram shows us, we have a basketball court. What is the depth of that basketball court? Is it about 15, 16 feet?
From the street going
Yes,
back
going
in?
back to the property.
I honestly don't know. I would have to defer to Glenn, how the size of the basketball court?
I don't know, I'm gonna say, don't hold me to this, but it's approximately 30 by 30.
Okay. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, with regard to the setback, the fence back there is, I think, where the dogs are kept,
That is correct.
and would it be a dramatic problem to move that back, that property back, so you could actually get within that 25 feet?
We could move it back. Like I said, that room to the right in the existing is the master bedroom. And the bedroom in the ADU is also in the back. The kitchen and living space are towards the front and the bedroom is towards the back. So it just really put the bedrooms very close to each other. And it seems as if we're gonna be 14 feet away. It almost sort of lends itself to becoming at that point almost an attached ADU versus a detached where, we're just looking for a little bit more separation to make it look like they're not on top of each other, and just planning wise, to the use of the land and to make it look somewhat aesthetic out there, to make it feel like it is really an ADU, was to pull it away from the main house. That was our intent, was to try to make them look like separate buildings is all, and give them a little bit of space each.
Okay, I don't have any further questions at this time.
Brian?
Yeah, thank you. I'll ask some of the questions that I was gonna ask. So just to clarify, we have one plan here which is showing it being within the proper setbacks, correct? It's showing 25.5.
Yeah, and the date on that plan is
I've got May 20th.
May 20th.
No, that's not the date on the
January
plan, that's when it
January
was
15th,
received.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
the
okay,
receipt.
yeah,
I'm
thank-
sorry, I
Yeah, I don't
apologize.
have the January 15th plan in front of me,
This
but yeah,
is,
we
this date
do,
is,
that was
the date is January 15th.
yeah, that was the original version that we had,
Right, so
the
this
engineer
version-
designed for us, yeah.
This version, you're within the setback requirement.
Correct, yeah.
And from being at the property, there's no elevation, there's no topography issues and hardship as far as why it has to be moved forward, because you can't build in that area, which you can't, correct?
Yeah.
So it would be, and I agree, that's why you would require a variance, and I don't necessarily see the hardship why it has to be put forward, other than aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's,
And I don't think you've got a problem on increasing to, where is it, what do you want to go up to, 640?
From 646 to 740.
I still think you can do that, because you can go up to 1/2 of the net floor area of your principal dwelling, which are shown as 4,500 feet,
Right.
4,590.
I think where we ran into an issue was with the building coverage on the lot.
That's the separate issue, yes,
Okay.
site coverage.
Yes.
Yeah. The statute says you have to meet the site coverage, but at least with the initial one, before you enlarged it, you were only gonna go from 31.8 to 33.5, so a very small increase. And I guess I would argue to the board, if you were gonna go with that original plan, which meets the setbacks, that maybe we could move forward with a special permit on the fact that it's already non-conforming and it's sort of a de minimis increase.
I would agree, you know,
I'm not sure I'm technically, probably you need a variance.
Okay.
But it's such a small increase, but that means you would have to go with the building shown on your original plan.
Right.
So, anyway, Tim?
So the reason you're not going with the building on the original plan is because of that bedroom to bedroom?
Correct,
issue?
yeah. Just looking to give both some privacy and just to, again, to make it, it was just in our opinion, it was going to fit the lot and sort of fit the neighborhood better than having the two buildings 14 feet apart is pretty close. So we thought that we had it staked out, and we just thought that it felt like it fit better in that location, just by pulling it forward a little
right,
bit, but,
it's understandable.
Yeah.
yeah.
As do our neighbors, agree
Yeah.
that it looks better.
I do have, just if you folks are interested, letters from all of the abutters. There are 4 immediate abutters that they approve of the ADU project.
Okay, well, we don't need to look at them, we'll
Sure.
accept that,
Sure.
but it doesn't really cure the issue.
Yeah.
Let's see if is there anyone out in the public that wants to speak to this case? No one. All right, I'm not gonna close the public hearing, I just wanted to see if there was anybody here. What I would,
Okay.
Go ahead,
My
Al.
only question was going to be, the distance between the bedrooms is 14 feet. I don't know if anybody here has ever lived in an apartment building, but those are 2 separate structures.
Yeah.
They're gonna be insulated.
Yeah, right. New windows.
And part of the obvious is, for privacy is, you know, roll evergreens or something, just so you block visual sight.
Yeah.
But,
and it's shown on the plan here, before you bump the building up, you're probably looking 30 feet, maybe a little more,
From the
from
street.
the corner of the house,
Yeah,
before you, enlarge this.
yeah,
So,
right.
what I would recommend is we let you continue the case till next month, and you take another look at the plans. See if there's anywhere else you can cite the bigger property if you want, that will meet the setback requirements.
I'm not sure if it's possible to amend the application this time. I think the Shermans would be willing to site the building within the setbacks required, if we were able to get the square footage increase from the 646 to 740.
Okay, now, help me out here, because on the March 17th, 2021 plan, that shows
Yeah,
a smaller site coverage increase than on the earlier plan. Yet I'm assuming this is with a bigger structure.
yeah, I'm looking at
I mean, this
30
This
required.
plan isn't adequate anyway,
Yeah.
no matter what happens. I mean, this is, we can't go
Oh,
forward on the basis of this
exactly, right,
plan.
it's not standard, yeah,
But
yeah.
I also think there's an issue there. So you've got 2 problems. You've got the setback issue, and you've also got the site coverage issue. And I guess I could argue that we could maybe go forward on just the site coverage issue if you left it, that it didn't violate the property lines if it was a relatively small increase, which both of these show small increases, but I don't know if either was correct now. I think you gotta go back and get these figures checked, because it doesn't seem to make any sense that you went down with a bigger building. I mean, can't be, unless something else came out. Are you gonna take out the paved basketball court?
That does come out, yeah.
Yeah, so that would decrease the site coverage and.
Okay, maybe, yeah, maybe
That's what happened.
Yep.
maybe that's the answer, I don't
Yep.
know. But it's not apparent, because on your plan, it doesn't show it being removed, it says paved basketball court.
Do you, by chance, have a, March 20th site plan?
March 17th.
Okay,
Just-
yeah, that's
just
the
little bitty
shaded
one.
one, right, all right. We thought that that would help just to show how the building did infringe on the setback. I do have a March 20th stamped plan. It's the same exact plan, it just doesn't have the shading and the line, so, it has the same numbers as far as site coverage on there. This is a stamped plan that I could, if you wanted to.
Yeah,
take a
we
look
just
at that.
look at it,
Certainly. I think I might have a couple of copies as well. Yeah, March 20th, this is Thanks, Tim.
okay, so what you've essentially done, the enlargement comes into the setback, not towards the house. So you still have, what, 30-some odd feet between the edge of the proposed accessory dwelling and your house there.
Correct.
So that could come back, you've got a setback violation of 12 feet. If you came back 12 feet, you'd still
Exactly,
be
exactly.
18 feet from the house.
Right, we would take that footprint that's on that plan, just relocate that, move that back to meet the setbacks.
Okay, the site coverage would be 1.3% increase, which I would consider de minimis, and I don't know, I would be prepared to move forward on that issue on a special permit, but that's just my vote. Let's see what the other guys think about it.
No, I would agree. I have no problem with the square footage, and I think the reason why the coverage factor is only a minor change is because of how much of the basketball court gets taken out of the picture.
Right,
Looks
and
like
that
the
would make sense.
Shed's getting removed too.
But when you come back, I'd like you, when you redo the plan, to have it shown where you see that
Certainly.
shed to be removed, basketball court to be removed, so that way it's on the plan we would stamp.
Or a portion of the court being removed.
The other thing is you're gonna have to refile anyway, because now you're asking for a variance, and we only advertise for a special permit. And I would recommend to the board that we waive the filing fee, so when he refiles, he doesn't have to pay another filing fee. But I think you'll have to refile and ask for the variance.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, wait,
No.
we're not gonna ask
No,
for the
you're not.
variance, because
Special permit.
you're gonna relocate the building back within the,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
So maybe what we do is we just continue the case to next month, and you come back with new plans
Okay.
and show us where it's gonna, be within a setback, that you're gonna take out the basketball court, and just verify the site coverage, that reflects the illumination of the basketball court.
Okay,
And it should reflect the illumination of your shed too, if it doesn't already.
yep, will do.
all right, just so I'm not confused, and I actually am at the moment, I apologize.
No, I'm confused, so go ahead.
Okay. The application tonight is for a special permit,
Right.
which on a non-conforming lot, we could approve can't we approve the size of the dwelling from 646 to 740, and approve being outside the additional site coverage of the site? That falls under a special permit, correct?
Well, we're gonna go forward on that basis, yeah, technically,
So,
but your point,
the point is that if we're approving that based upon, do they need to refile on those two items, except for just to have a clarity of the building the plan for the building inspector? That's all I'm asking.
whether we could approve it tonight?
Yeah,
No, because we don't have a good plan.
okay, all right. That's strictly the reason why we can't approve it, because the plan needs to be updated.
I think we should never approve anything unless we have a good plan.
Good, that's
Because I
fine.
need to stamp it, and that's
But
what
you
the,
used it, you mentioned the term variance. I think if we're still going
I
special permit.
misspoke, yeah,
That's okay,
because
so
they're
make
gonna,
sure.
I forgot they're gonna relocate it back.
Right.
I was looking at the plan.
That's where I got
and
confused.
Speaking,
and variance is-
that's what I said, I was confused. I'm gonna give you this one
Certainly,
back.
thank you. Yep. So we would be able to continue this.
We will, yes, I will move that we continue case 2021-26 until next month.
I do have a quick question, just for you, sorry, because there's all dates going around for the.
Sure, yeah. Yep.
When you go back and you're gonna redo the plans and stuff, is the plan gonna look exactly like the January 15th plan? Just it's gonna say basketball, paved court removed, it already says shed removed?
Yeah.
And then it'll update your numbers?
The size of the building will increase slightly from that January 15th
So
plan.
the building will look more like
The
the building?
building,
on-
yeah, it'll be slightly bigger, it'll be shaped that same way.
Okay.
I think we're gonna keep basically the same footprint that we have. It sort of lends itself, it's not giant and boxy, driving down the road, looking at the front of that building, just having that jog in the front wall. So it'll be the same shape, same footprint that's on the March 20th and March 17th plan, just that it will meet the setback, essentially.
And are we asking for the basketball court to be removed? Because we are. Because that will put them under probably the site coverage. That will.
Well, that's what we don't know.
Yeah,
That's what I
we'll
said,
have the
I don't
engineer
know.
Review all that and verify those numbers on the site
Yeah,
coverage.
but he did say they're gonna remove it, so I want it shown on the
Yeah.
plan that it's gonna
Okay,
be
so yeah,
removed.
okay.
But then have, them check the
site
site
coverage.
coverage with both the shed and the basketball court out, and maybe that makes that go away too, we don't know yet. And if you, you're gonna change the plan, so if you wanna do anything to the building,
Yeah.
as far as the shape,
Sure,
you can do whatever you'd like.
okay.
So anyway, I made the motion to continue this case until next month, but I did not get a second on it.
Second.
Second from Al Donahue. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so you don't have to refile, you just have to come back next month with a new set of plans for us.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, sir. Sorry, not trying to give you a tough time, but going into the setbacks is a problem for us. Okay, so
Can I ask,
continue
Quick question before we move on.
to,
But for that one, can I ask after? I can ask.
I'm sorry, more volume.
Yes, I just have a question about, if he would have agreed to the plan on the January 15th that shows it outside, this is not what he came in to apply for, but after talking with us, he says, you know what, actually, we'll take that plan. Could we have moved forward with that, with the January 15th, as shown on the January 15th plan?
Yeah, I think we could have.
Even though he didn't, that's not what he
Because
applied
that
for?
was within the setbacks and everything, but he would have given us a clean plan, because mine's got the notation that this isn't the plan anymore. They've changed the size of the building. Well, actually, no, because he's changed the size of the building.
Yeah.
So we'd have to, this plan was no good, because now he's changed the size of the building. And the other plan, just that little fraction, I don't think we could move forward on that either, because it doesn't actually show the increased building and where it's gonna be on the property there. It just shows it into the setback.
I have a quick question. Do you think that that March site plan was supposed to be in our file and it was not?
He didn't submit it, so
Okay. Maybe he did submit it and it didn't get, because that was before I was there. Like this particular meeting was, I feel like we might be missing something because.
He probably should have put it in, but frankly, the way we ended up doesn't make any difference, because.
No, and it's not in his denial letter either. so-
No, he's got to come back with a decent plan. The plan really was off from the get-go. Okay, so just 1 second, what is our meeting date next month? Alicia, do you have that at the,
I can get it for you.
ready? No, I've got it
I got it.
someplace. Last
28.
28th, okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Continue to 7/28. Okay, Al.
Case number 2021-27. Kristen Ward, trustee of the Weechmere Harbor Trust, through her agent, attorney William Kroll, has applied for special permit or the alternative, a variance to construct a new in-ground pool and deck. The application is pursuant to the Code of Town of Harbors, 325, Table 2, Area Regulation, as set forth in MGL Chapter 48, Section 6, or Chapter 48, Section 10. The property is located at 651 Route 28, Map 15, Parcel 2, in the RL zoning district.
Okay, Attorney Kroll, if you could introduce yourself for the record, please,
Sure,
and then
Attorney-
present your petition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney William Kroll from Harwichport. It's nice to be back in person in front of all of you and seeing real human
Yes.
beings and smiles and so forth. It's been a long road. So, I'm representing the petitioner this evening, Kristen Ward, trustee of the Witchmere Harbor View Trust, and indirectly her husband, John Miola, also. The property is located, very nice location overlooking Witchmere Harbor from Route 28, right next to the overlook. The petitioner is seeking to construct an in-ground swimming pool and a surrounding deck as per the certified plot plan by Moran Engineering that's submitted with the petition. The southwest, and I found that I had to go out and make a site visit myself, just to see what it would be like, but it was in February. So it's not the same as it is today, but it, nevertheless, a gorgeous view. The pool, by the way, is not so much for the view and luxury, it's a therapy pool for Dr. and Mrs. Miola and their 9-year-old autistic son. And Mrs. Miola, Ms. Ward, I'm sorry, has had some recent surgery. She needs to have physical therapy through swimming, and Dr. Miola has several physical issues that require repetitive swimming and water therapy. So that's the reason for the pool before you this evening. The southwest corner of the existing deck is 18.3 feet from the westerly lot line. And that, where it says 18.3, it's to the corner of the elevated deck. But it's less than 20 feet from the lot line. And you'll note that there are also, we pointed out that there is a retaining wall, steps, and a landing right there also that are substantial and made out of those stone bricks that you can get from all of the landscaping supply places now. And those retaining wall, as you know, is considered a structure, and that's less than 20 feet from the lot line also. So we have pre-existing non-conforming structures, the deck, the wall, the steps. The proposed pool, the corner of that pool, as shown on the plan, would be 12.8. So it would be basically coming 6 feet closer to the westerly lot line. Part of the reason is because of the angled boundary line there that tapers towards the harbor. So we'd be seeking to intensify an existing nonconformity. The building coverage, as shown on the plan, would remain below the maximums of 15% for building and 30% for site coverage. And we would argue that there would be no substantial increase in noise, traffic, fumes, odors, congestion, or the like. And there would be no substantial detriment to the entire neighborhood if the board could see fit to grant the special permit this evening. I might also point out that we've already been to the Conservation Commission, and they've already approved this pool and the footprint of the pool. And we've submitted obtained the appropriate denial letter from the building commissioner. Thank you.
And the pool, I assume it's gonna be above ground? Because you've got the frames on the sides there, or not?
It will be an in-ground swimming pool.
Okay. But if it's an elevated deck, how are they gonna access it?
The deck around the pool is not elevated.
Oh, okay,
The existing deck is elevated. But the proposed deck, I know it's confusing when you look at the plan, the proposed deck would be ground level,
okay.
because there'll be a patio right to the east of it there, the east end of the pool. There'll be a patio there also. And then the decking around the pool. I don't recall from the topography whether it drops off on that side. So I know that it does, the topography drops off as you go down towards the harbor. So it may be that the pool starts off ground level on the house side, but then some of it's exposed on the southerly side.
Okay. And why is the site coverage going down, even with the addition of the pool?
Why is it going down?
Yes.
By 0.001%.
No, but why? Because you're adding a pool to, I guess because
There's a patio there
the
now.
patio and steps and part of a stone wall are coming out?
Yes,
Then you're adding stone wall.
right
and
over
step.
by the septic tank. It says remove patio and steps.
Right,
And remove stone wall.
right. But then you're adding stone wall and steps
Correct.
and a pool, but you're still going down. Okay, just curious.
That I would have to rely on Moran Engineering, who put their stamps and signed the plan, and they made those calculations for us.
Okay. No, we're just curious. Jamie?
And if I may,
ahead.
sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Where it says on the left-hand side, the westerly bounds, proposed pool and deck, remove, parentheses, remove existing patio.
Ah, it's over a patio.
I think it's kind of a
Well, that's probably a trade, yeah, okay.
one-for-one trade, yes.
Right, okay.
Thanks.
I had not noticed that, thank you.
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Al?
I just, excuse me, I have a question with regard to the pool. It's a 28 by 14 pool. What's the depth of that pool? Is that a lap pool?
It's February that I was there with Dan Croto from Moran Engineering, so I'm trying to remember. And my recollection is that it was going to be a shallow pool because it's a lap pool, a therapy pool.
I was just curious regarding where it's located and how deep it could go.
And so I don't think it's very, it's like 3 feet, 4 feet, something like that. And it has to be rectangular for safety reasons for the automatic pool cover. It has to be rectangular to cover it.
Okay.
All right, I have no further questions, thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, I really have no questions, but so there's no fencing around the pool?
Because you can
Use
have the automatic cover.
Right,
Can't have that, then you have to have the fencing, is my understanding.
Tim?
I was gonna ask about the conservation, you answered, and then the fencing. That's interesting. So an automatic cover, you would not need a fence.
Right. My, off Cape, my son put a pool in. I'm thinking, where's the fence? Why didn't the town require the fence? He's got an automatic pool cover. And I've run into that locally here also.
The material you can
Surprised.
walk on. The material is designed so you can actually physically walk across the pool.
The advertised the elephant can do it.
So a child wandering from the neighbor's property onto it would not drown, would not fall into the pool.
Okay, I see no one here from the public, so I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second?
Okay, second from Jamie. I think this case meets the requirements of the Gale case and the bylaw. The pool will have no substantial impact on the neighborhood beyond what's already there. Small nonconformity, small intensification. I think a special permit is justified. Any discussion by the board? I'll
No.
entertain a motion in the case then.
All right, case number, excuse me, 2021-27. Kristen Ward, trustee of the Weechmere Harbor Trust through her agent, attorney William Kroll, has applied for a special permit or an alternative to, a variance to construct a new in-ground pool and deck. The application pursuant to the Town of Harwich 325, Table 2, area regulations set forth in NGL Chapter 40A, Section 6. The property is located at 651 Route 28, Map 15, Parcel C2, in the RL zoning district. The board hereby grants a special permit, having found the applicant meets the requirements of the bylaw and the Gale case. It will not create a new nonconformity and will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structures. Now, with regard to all work, it shall be performed, I have a question with regard to that driveway. I know there's room to back vehicles up. Do you feel as though you're gonna need the, or do we feel as though, do we need to have a restriction relative to where they're going to park?
We were hoping that you wouldn't, because there, we don't know if there's any real room to be parking on Route 28
No,
there. And any construction vehicles would want to be as close to the house as possible to, so that they don't have to travel so far with tools and equipment and materials. And with the steepness of the driveway, I would think you'd want to be getting down into the parking area that's provided on site. So I don't see any vehicles being out on Route 28.
Okay, so we could put in the requirement that the construction vehicles will be parked on the property. Okay.
Okay, there'll be no demolition to exterior construction, new landscaping during the, well, no, excuse me,
No.
I stand corrected on that one. The special permit is granted subject to the conditions. During the life of the project, all construction vehicles shall be parked on the property and not on any public street or road. It is a condition of this approval that the violation of the terms and conditions of this special permit may be enforced as violations of the Harwich zoning bylaw pursuant to GL Chapter 48, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw as they may be amended from time to time.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Special permit granted.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may ask the clerk, if the clerk is going to be writing the decision, or the department?
I don't know if I can answer that right now, but I am leaning towards we will be doing it. But I can confirm that tomorrow for you.
Just so I know.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I'd rather your department do it.
Okay, now we'll call our last case, please.
Case number 2021-28. Patricia R. Irving, through her agent, attorney William Kroll, has applied for special permit or in the alternative variance to partially finish a basement, construct a second-floor dormer, and add a 4x7 deck. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich 32554. Table 2, area regulations are set forth as MGL Chapter 40A, Section 6, or Chapter 40A, Section 10. The property is located at 119 Sisson Road, Map 30, Parcel S2-A, in the RL zoning district.
Okay, Attorney Kroll, if you could please identify yourself again for the record and then present your application.
Thank you. Attorney William Kroll from Harwich Port, representing the petitioner Patricia Irving this evening. Just parenthetically, what an interesting situation you have, the things that you come before you with lighting tonight. I've never seen a petition for lighting and a hardship over 2 lumens and what was the measurement of the light they go by?
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't lumens.
It wasn't lumens, it was
Candle.
candle.
Candles.
Yeah, just,
Wood candles.
That's what makes this
Foot
job
candle.
so interesting.
right.
It was
Right.
interesting, yeah, wasn't it?
Lights, swimming pools, you never know what's
never know.
coming in front of you. Okay, so this is more vanilla, this petition, which is to partially finish the basement and construct a second-floor dormer and a 4-foot by 7-foot deck on the front, the deck on the front of the building, as per the plans. The dormer would also be on the front of the building. There's a dormer on the back already, and this would be on the north side. So this property, this house is a single-family residence located on the southerly side of Sisson Road, after Allen Street as you're proceeding down towards Star Market, and it's on the southerly side. The petitioner is seeking to renovate the walkout basement by adding walls, gym equipment, a pool table, an office, and a wet bar, as shown on the plans. This would add habitable space within the 20-foot setback. So I understand Mr. Bailey's and Mr. Sullivan's struggle with this, because it's your house, it's your basement. Why can't you create habitable space? The only thing I can say is that in the abstract, the setback is vertical, and it goes down through the earth, it goes straight up towards the sky. And if you are within 20 feet of the setback and creating habitable space, then you need relief from this board. Contrast it to, I had a case a couple of months ago where we had a garage and we wanted to convert the garage to habitable space. So if you already had a garage that was 6 feet from the lot line, not 20 feet, and you wanted to convert that to habitable space, you can do that under the Gale case, but the point is that if you create habitable space, the neighbor thinks, oh, I should be 20 feet from the lot line. And when you create that habitable space should be 20 feet from the lot line, because people can open windows, they can have music, they can have parties, they can make noise. So that's why the habitable space is supposed to be set back. So theoretically, in the basement, we're not gonna hear it, but you're creating habitable space. So that's why we need, under the Gale case, to say we're already too close to the lot line on both sides of the dwelling at 11.6 and 17.4, so we need relief from both sides. And then the dormer goes almost to the ends of both sides of the house. So though the dormer would be within the 20-foot setback, and so that's a good contrast right there. Now you're creating habitable space above ground that would require relief from this board. Makes more sense than intuitively than converting the basement. The proposed deck doesn't really need any relief. It meets the setbacks all around, but we just wanted to point out that that will be part of the project. The building coverage will remain below the 15% and below the 30%. We have the denial letter from the building commissioner, and our argument is, as I mentioned under the Gale case, that we're intensifying existing nonconformities by creating habitable space in the basement and in the dormer on the front of the building, and that we contend there would be no substantial increase in noise, odors, fumes, congestion, or the like, and no substantial detriment to the entire neighborhood if this relief was granted. I ask that you grant the special permit this evening. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know, maybe it's my math. It looks like you're over the 30-foot height limit. I'm looking at 4 of 6 on the profile views there. 11.4, so that's 33.1, 8.7,
Which one are you looking at, Mr. Chairman?
4 of 6, proposed dormer, proposed profile views.
And which one, up above or down below?
I'm looking at the, well, I think the math is the same on them, on the height, the top of roof. It looks like it's 40-some odd feet to me.
Yeah. I think if you look at the arrows to the furthest away from the house each time, they all, on all the diagrams, show 21.7
Oh, okay.
to the top of the roof.
And what are the arrows on the second side, then? Those are the ones I was looking at, the ones on the right side there.
21.7.
Have anything to do with that breezeway? I don't see the garage depicted here, but there's like a breezeway going into that garage. Maybe that's the height of the breezeway. Because the chimney's on that side. Not mistaken.
Talking about a garage here?
No.
I think the 21.7 doesn't account for like, for the foundation and then the spot between the roof line and the dormer. If that's what, if you're adding them up and not getting,
Yeah, I guess they're purporting that the 21.7 is the total. I was adding it to the 11.4. It's a little confusing the
Right.
way they show it there.
Right.
Yeah,
But you gotta go by the points on the arrows,
okay, yep.
and every diagram says 21.7.
There's not much exposed foundation.
Right, but that also doesn't add up. 11.4 and 8.7 is not 21.7. Oh, it's up,
That-
because it's going up the part of the chimney there. Okay, I see.
Right, and it's
going
going
above
further
the
down
roof.
than the 8.7.
I got it. Okay, sorry, that was the only question I had. Okay, Jamie?
No questions.
But there's no garage here.
No, well, there was a attached garage, or maybe there's a garage door.
Yeah, there's a garage door with a breezeway. And that's where the chimney is depicted, but the breezeway nor is that garage depicted.
That's fine, I'll defer to your expertise, Mr. Donahue. I'm just not seeing it on the plans.
No. Just throw it out there, but I think that's where the measurements are coming
Yeah,
in.
I mean, not necessary, I got
No.
a picture of it if you wanna see it.
Al, anything?
No further from me, thank you.
No, I'm all
Ryan?
set.
Tim?
no, I appreciate the explanation, by the way, but no questions.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, I see no one in the public, so I will move to close the public hearing. Can I have a second, please? Second from Brian Sullivan. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. Any discussion by the board? I think this case beats the Gale case in the bylaw. I think a special permit is in order. It certainly will have the improvements will have no substantial detriment on the neighborhood beyond the existing nonconformities. So I'll entertain a motion in the case unless anyone else has a comment.
I mean, just a comment, I believe there's plenty of parking on the lot itself for that driveway. I'm gonna-
Circular driveways.
Yeah, there should be able to park everything on the driveway.
Okay.
Great.
All right, case number 2021-28. Patricia R. Irving, through her agent, Attorney William Kroll, has applied for a special permit to partially finish a basement, construct a second-floor dormer, and add a 4x7 deck. The application pursuant to the code of the town of Harwich 32554 and Table 2, area regulation as set forth in MGL Chapter 40A, Section 6. The property is located at 119 Sisson Road. The board hereby grants a special permit, having found that the applicant meets the requirements of the bylaw and the Gale case. As the proposed project will intensify one or more existing nonconformities, will not create any new nonconformity, and will not be substantially detrimental to the neighborhood and the existing structures. The work will be performed in accordance with the plans submitted with the application. During the life of the project, all construction vehicles shall be parked on the property and not on a public street or road. It is a condition of this approval that the violation of the terms and conditions of the special permit may be enforced as a violation of the Harwich zoning bylaw pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw, as these may be amended from time to time.
Okay, can I have a second on the motion, please? Second from Tim. Any discussion by the board on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Motion granted here. Last time tonight.
Thank you.
Special permit granted, Attorney Crowell.
That driveway coming out of the property at, on 28, it's just amazing, the obstructions that are there for those folks trying to get out of that driveway. Going in is okay, as long as you're traveling east.
For this property here?
No,
No, the
You're
pool.
talking about the,
Route 651, the one that has the pool.
oh,
yeah,
oh,
that's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it was a challenge in February. I'm sure. It wasn't really worried about the traffic, but just,
The last 2 weeks, the traffic increase has been incredible.
yes.
And it's still June.
It's still June, wait till this weekend.
I know.
Wait till August, yeah.
You know, I was surprised at River Beach, they already pulled up the cement.
Oh, the plovers, yeah. I guess they've
Last year was well
fledged.
into July.
Yeah.
It's towards the end of July where they came up.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And,
That's a plover thing, right?
Well, last
Yeah.
year they had one pair that came late and nested.
Ah, late
That's what happened
nesters,
last
eh?
year.
really,
Yeah, one pair came late and nested, and they had to keep
Were
it
they
blocked
docked?
off.
Yeah, there was just one pair this
And
year.
this year, they've all fledged so they could open. They didn't have any,
latecomers?
Late
yeah, no,
nesters.
yeah, no latecomers.
So that's the reason.
Yeah,
But maybe the town just wanted to make sure they increase the parking fees down there. You know. So they actually track, somebody's walking that property and tracking when these birds are showing up.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're very serious about that.
Mhm.
Did
So
everybody
that's
get,
how it's done.
did everybody get the message from the police department relative to fireworks this season?
Yes,
I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it, I just figured it was, as usual, don't light up fireworks.
Well, they have specifically asked because of the conditions of the lack of water and the dryness of all the properties out there. So they're doing it very seriously this season.
Against the law.
we've already had a lot of them go off in our neighborhood. All right, before we get away here, let's,
Thank you, I'll let you do your business.
Attorney, thank you.
Thank you.
okay, have a
See you
good
next
evening,
month.
Attorney Crowell. See you next month.
So, assuming we're gonna see you again next month, right?
To see you in person again.
Yes, hopefully. Shayla circulated the April minutes. I had only one comment. Okay, in case 2021-13, I don't remember the name of the case, but it had involved the garage. And in the motion, she cited the Gale case, and I had her just remove that because the garage is not a dwelling. Gale only applies to single and two-family dwellings. I had no other comments. Did anybody have any comments on the
I
April
didn't catch that one.
28th
I
meeting?
did.
All right, I will move with that small change to approve the April, where is it, April 28th, 2021 minutes. Did I have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those minutes are approved. I had given Leisha, and I don't know if anybody else had comments on the May 26 minutes, and she recirculated them. Did anyone have any further comments on those May 26 minutes?
No.
I'll move to approve those as written. Can I have a second, please? Second from Tim Bailey. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong, but the February minutes, I don't think it's still online.
They are
Yes.
not.
I was gonna ask Leisha if she had time to put up the February minutes.
So, long story short, once all of the minutes are, now that the minutes are approved, I'll be sending all of them when I send the July agenda. And
Bless you.
hopefully it works.
So you'll get them posted on our website.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
New business, the only thing I have, you saw the email from Shayla, she's doing better, so coming along slowly, hopes to be here next month, but we'll see. The only other thing, I've been down Sisson a couple of times lately, and they're working on the miniature golf.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Now, why they didn't do it during the off-season, I don't understand, why they waited till now, because they should be having people there
They may have
playing.
had the same problem as everybody else had, getting construction people.
Oh, well, maybe.
Probably true, yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, looks nice,
Plus,
actually.
plus
Looks
material.
real
Oh,
nice.
it's great, it's a great location.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a great location. I think the neighbors will not be unhappy when it's in operation.
I agree.
The junk's gone, the boat's gone, I mean, they cleaned up
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a big improvement. And the guy, I don't remember his name, but came from us, he runs R&E irrigation, and he's already done quite a bit for the town. R&K irrigation, they've changed the name now, it's maybe S&E, but runs a good
We did
operation.
resolve that time frame with regard to opening and closing, did we not? Maybe there was a question
Oh,
relative
yeah.
to,
It's
something to do
supposed,
with the go-karts, as
Yeah.
I recall.
I think we had required that they shut at 10, and when Attorney Singer went before the planning board, he had a big discussion, he wanted to tie it to Bud's go-kart, that, yeah, they shut down, or they stopped going around at 10, but then it's like half an hour to clear the site and whatnot. So he wanted the same consideration, but the planning board said they had to come back to us, so he hasn't, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I was just curious how that,
He's never come back, so.
Yeah.
And I don't remember sitting here now, but I think we said specifically 10 o'clock, is my recollection,
We did,
yeah.
yeah.
so.
Is it the
Can't-
same owner as the go-karts with the?
No,
No, really?
different owner. But
So they're gonna both benefit.
I forget now, did he own the site or did he rent it? I don't
I
remember.
think it was leased, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think he leased it.
I think it was.
Maybe the guy that runs the go-karts owns it, I don't
believe
remember.
It's linked to that, yeah.
If you've been to the go-karts, there's a pole out in the middle with an osprey nest. They
Yeah.
have some of the first ospreys of the season in there, and the go-karts are going around, and kids are
Oh, neat, I
yelling.
didn't notice the nest,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, they've got young. They had them last year, well, before the pandemic, when we went, the grandkids were going around, and
That's great.
the
I think that would bug them.
ospreys are up there, not giving it,
They can take a lot. You've seen them on Route 28 on the poles.
yeah.
That's
and-
right, there's one on,
Yeah.
And you go
right there.
down to Red River
Down
Beach,
Chatham Street and
Yeah,
28.
right.
and the Eagle Scout built a brand-new platform,
Yes.
not a stick on it. The
Yeah,
birds,
isn't that funny?
they're just ignoring it. It's
Yeah.
right down there in the marsh behind the beach. Beautiful, kid did a nice job.
Too nice.
Beautiful platform, but no ospreys.
Give it a
Go
go.
figure.
Who knows?
Does anyone have anything else? No? All right, I will move to adjourn our meeting at 8:39. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Al Donahue, meeting
One
adjourned.
more time to gavel, all right.